will store, this is what we use to read and store the first number. Okay. Then the user will only see this part again, because you don't see the programming language when you go to the ATM. You don't see the programming language when you utilize the phone. All you see is what you want to see, which is the instruction and whatever, and then the program reads in the information, the data you put in, and then what? Then it prints the result. Now, the commas are very important. If you don't put the commas, you're going to lose marks. You must put the commas there, please, because the commas separate the variables and separate the print statement from the variable. Right? I'm going to tell you about syntax. These are the syntax of pseudocode. Alright? This is the basic structure of any pseudocode you're going to write. You're going to have a print. Well, first you're going to have a start. Then you're going to have variables being declared and initialized. Then you're going to have a print. You're going to read in something. Then you're going to maybe print and read in something else. And then the last thing you'll do is calculate and show the results to the screen. Okay. General, that's basic simple pseudocode. Doesn't get any easier than that. Alright. Example number 3 now. Yes. Now we're getting into it. No. Let's see up your attention. Alright. The question says, design a pseudocode that reads in a person's name and age and prints them to the screen. Question. Ask yourself, always ask a question whenever you read it. Whether it's maths or biology. Ask yourself a question. Find a question to ask. It will help you think. Alright, let's go. So, what is the pseudocode asking the user for? The pseudocode is asking for what? A person's name and age. So these are the two things that the pseudocode is asking for. Name and age. Okay. What do we do with the name and the age? Print them. So we're being asked to print the name and the age to the screen. Okay. So reason with me now. We know we're going to start with a start program. How many variables do we need to accept for the data that we're asking for? Some people just jump up and say 2 little while ago. But if you were paying attention before, you would have heard me say we only create or declare variables for what? Integers. Age is an integer. Remember what an integer is? Integers are what? Positive and negative numbers, including 0. Okay. Is name an integer? Who out the name 5? Who out the name number 5? Tell me now, who name number 5? So we would not declare a variable for a name. And then what do we do when we ask the person for the age and ask the person for the name? We do what? Print them to the screen. Alright. So here we go. We have our start program to show that the pseudocode just begun. Then we have what? Age is our variable there. There's the only variable there. There's no name variable in pseudocode. If it was another programming language, you would create a variable for the characters. But that's advanced stuff. We're not going that far. Look now. We are initializing the age with what? 0. Okay? Now that we've declared an initialized age, which is the only variable that the pseudocode asks for, now we're going to go into asking for the name. We do what? Read in the name. Okay? Even though there's no variable, we still have to write name to say that. Remember, you know, the pseudocode is an outline, it's a plan. So we still have to write read name. Okay. Print. We ask the person for their age. And then we do what? We read age. Everybody catch that? Okay. Now, we want to do the second part of the pseudocode question, which says what? To print the name to the screen. So we use print, we use double quotes to show that this is what will be printed on the screen. And in some cases, like in other programming language, you would use brackets. But in pseudocode, you only use double quotes. So the name of the name you have entered is, we put our comma, that's the syntax. You must have the comma after the end quote for the print. And then we have what? Name. So the person would only see the name you have entered is, and then they would see the name that they have entered. So think of a registration process where we go to Digicel or school or one of those places, and they ask you for your name, and the person types in your name. First, the computer asks them for the name of the person who's registering. Then they type in the name. Then to check when when you click save, then it will say the name you have typed in is, just to show you that you typed this person's name and if you spelled it correctly. All right, next part. Now we want to show what? The age. So we use the print with the double quotes, and we say what? The age of the person is, and with the print double quote, the comma is there, correct syntax, and then we put age. So age would be shown here. They wouldn't see the word age. They would see the age of the number that was put in. They would see the age that was put in, that was typed into the computer program. They wouldn't see the word age. And then we do what? End program. Easy, right? This is too easy, not true? It's almost 3 easy. I know. It's 3 easy. All right. All right. Now let's now try a question in which an operator is used. And the operators are, please, plus, minus, multiply, divide. Everybody know about multiply, divide. There's a song about divide and multiply people. That's all. I think it's Vibes Cartel sing it. But anyway, develop a pseudocode which what? Adds 3 numbers and prints the result to the screen. What's the question you're going to ask yourself? What are you going to ask the user for? You're going to ask the user for what? 3 numbers. That's what you're going to ask the user for. So the pseudocode said. And you're going to do what to those 3 numbers? You're going to add them and then what? Print the result to the screen. Easy, straightforward. Okay. So we start program. And I have declared, please, my first number variable. I've initialized it to 0. Remember, it's not every time it will be initialized to 0. It's just based on what the question is asking. Here we go again. Number, num2, which is the second variable, being initialized to 0. Num3, third variable, being initialized to 0. And what? Num4 is my 4th variable. Now this 4th variable is where I'm going to store the result. Now I called it total. This variable is total, I call it. It does not have, you don't have to name it total. You can name it sum, you can name it result, you can name it answer. Whatever word you want to use, you can use it, as long as it relates to what the pseudocode question asks. So the pseudocode question said, calculate the total, find the total, determine the total, then you will use a variable called total. If it said calculate the percentage, find the percentage, you would be using a variable called percentage. Not true? And if it said find the product, then you'll be using a variable called product. Now, this variable here will be used to store the answer of the addition of these 3 variables, or the contents of these 3 variables. Okay, let's go. So, first thing, I ask the user for the first number. I read the first number and put it in num1 variable. I ask the user for the second number. I read the second number into the second variable, which is num2. I ask the user for the third number. I read the number into the third variable, which is num3. Then look what I do now. Then I store. Remember, this is initialized, which means that everything behind it is going into total, is being stored into total. What am I storing into total? I am storing num1 plus num2 plus num3. Now think, we don't know what number the person entered in num1. We don't know what number the person entered in num2. We don't know what number the person entered in num3. But what we do know is whatever is inside of the three of them is being added together and stored in total. Then the last part of the question said you must do what? Print the result, print the answer to the screen. So I use my print keyword, in quotes please, beginning and ending, to say the sum of the numbers is, that doesn't sound like good English, the sum of the numbers are, and then I use my comma, and then I say what? Total. So whatever the sum of the numbers are, it's stored in total will be printed here. So if the person put 1, 2, 3, at the end of the day, I would expect to see what? 6 here, so. If the person put 10, 10, 10, at the end of the day, I would expect to see what? 30 here, so. But we don't know what number the person put in. That's why we write our code in such a way it's a general. It's a general thing. It's general. Because you don't know what number the person is going to put in. Okay. Alright, so now we're being asked to answer some questions based on what we've learned. And we are going to do what? Write your solution to the following questions in your notebook and take a picture and send it to me. Or type it in a Word program and send it to me. So you have variable Word programs. You can download Microsoft Word on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop or PC. You can type it up. You can send it to me. Just remember to put your name on it. Or you can write it out on a piece of paper. Please write so I can read it. Remember, me them not good. I lost my glasses, them teeth it. I sit up on it by accident. Doctor never prescribed it for me good. Whatever. Just remember, say, I need to read it. So please write it in such a way so that I can read it clearly if you're going to write it. Okay? And if you send it one question, please put your name on it. If you send all of them, write your name on it. Alright. I just want to point out to you that this question is asking you to find the product. And I put what product means there. Just bear that in mind. And also, notice that this one asks you to find the difference. And difference means what? Subtract means you're going to subtract. That's what difference means. I should probably do it for this one as well, since most of you, when you declare your variables, let me do it for this one as well. When you declare your variables, you initialize your variables, and you have to use operator. This is how you write it. I'm putting it in just in case. I'm putting it in just in case. So here we go. Whatever variable you use for the first one, if it says product, it means that we're going to multiply. This is how we would write it, please. And I've showed you how to store it in another variable so you can write the answer. And here we go again. Difference, you would do what? Write it this way. Write the variable with whatever you call your variable. Num1, num2, whatever you want to call it. Number 1, number 2. Just please write something that's related to the question. So don't use read num A, read num B. That doesn't make sense. It must be num1 or num2 or integer 1 or integer 2 if you want to use that. Okay. Next one says design a pseudocode that divides what? Two numbers. And look how I write it, please. We can write it this way with the backslash to indicate division between the variables. This should be variable 1 and this should be variable 2, just in case. Or we can write it this way, and this should also be variable 1 and this should be variable 2. But you get the concept that one variable is divided into another. So we can write it this way, or we can write it this way. Whichever one you prefer, it's up to you how you want to write it. Either one you want to write, it's up to you. Okay. And for question 4, formulate a pseudocode that what adds. Oh yeah man, this one looks sweet. It's sweet, me I tell you. Formulate a pseudocode that adds what? That adds and multiply the result. Something is missing here. Formulate a pseudocode that adds. Sorry, it should be 2 numbers. That was missing. And multiply the result by what? 2. Alright, look how we do that now. We would write, please write the brackets to indicate that this should be addition. To indicate that you are adding first of all, and then second, the brackets show that you're adding first, and then you're going to multiply last. So please, this is the structure, this is the syntax of how you're supposed to write the variables when you're answering this question. So just for practice, it's not to kill you. It's very straightforward, it's very easy. Devise a pseudocode that what calculates the percentage. Alright, and how do we calculate percentage? If the thing costs $1,000, we normally multiply it by the percentage, which means if we say 20%, it means whatever number the person entered in the variable multiplied by 20%. You can write it like that, just regular 20%. Or you can write it by whatever number the person entered in the variable or stored in the variable multiplied by the percentage over 100. If it was 20%, it would be 20 over 100. If it was 3%, it would be 3 over 100. Please notice how we say over 100, we use the backslash to show that it's over 100. So this is straightforward, it's very easy, and nothing for kill you. You have the examples to go off of, and I also gave you the correct syntax on how to write the the calculation. So I expect everybody to at least try and send something come give me. If you type it, I can show you your mistakes, send it back to you, you can correct it. I might just use it as your grade, who knows. So please ensure that you at least try it and send it to me as soon as possible. As a matter of fact, if you send it to me before next Friday, I can correct it, mark it, give it back to you so that we can have another little quiz on it. Why not? Alright, so programmers, I want you to enjoy the rest of your programming lives. I want you to sit down, contemplate on what you have learned today. I want you to contemplate on all the words, all the keywords, all the declarations of the variables we've made, all the initialization, all the syntax, all the semantics. I want you to pay attention to them. I want you to go ahead and play this video over and over until you know it, until it becomes a part of you. Because if you're a programmer, you need to think like a programmer. Programmer helps you to plan. So therefore, please ensure you learn all these words, you learn these concepts, and practice them. Practice becomes perfect, not true? So if you practice tell lie, then you're done. No. Just I thought some people secret. So please practice.
And it sounds a bit